Shalom, welcome to Rob on the Rock. I'm Rob Van Hoff, and today I want to show you an ancient Babylonian manuscript of Psalm 90, specifically looking at the first few verses where we hear about Moses' prayer unto Adonai and describing Adonai as eternal. So one of the first things you might notice about this manuscript is that the vowel points are above the letters rather than below and above, as we normally see in the Tiberian tradition. That's because this is written according to the Babylonian scribal convention. This is an ancient text. This could date as early as the 9th or 10th century AD. And Psalm 90 begins, Tefillah le-Moshe, ish Ha-Elohim. Again, Tefillah le-Moshe, ish Ha-Elohim. The word tefillah is this first word here. Tefillah, that's the word for prayer. Le-Moshe, le-Moshe. Well, you might remember the word Moshe is Moses. Le-Moshe means belonging to Moses, the prayer of Moses, similar to Mizmor le-David, a psalm of David. It's not Tefillah le-Moshe, a prayer to Moses. That would not make sense, of course. Tefillah le-Moshe ish Ha-Elohim. What does it mean to call Moshe ish Ha-Elohim? It means he is a man that lives by faith and that his worldview is framed first and foremost by his love for God and his understanding that God interacts with his creation and his people, more importantly, according to his covenant promises, according to his character. Let's read a little bit. We'll read the first two verses of this psalm. It begins, Adonai. Now, this is not Yod He Vav He with a vocalization of Adonai. It's Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yod. So Moshe's prayer begins, Adonai. Ma'on Atah. Hayita lanu, bedor vador. Again, Adonai, ma'on atah. That is a dwelling place you are. And then the poetry continues, Hayita lanu, bedor vador. You have been for us from generation to generation. So the idea of God being consistent over the generations is very important here. And then we can look at the next verse, verse 2. Beterem harim yuladu. Beterem harim yuladu. Before the mountains were born, the harim. Before the mountains were born. Vatecholel eretz v'tevel. And you gave birth, or you birthed or begat, Eretz v'tevel, earth and the world. Ume'olam ad olam, ata el. This is particularly beautiful. Ume'olam ad olam. That means from eternity past, ad olam, to eternity future. Me'olam ad olam. Ata El. You are El. You are God is how we would probably translate that in English. So what do we learn about this Tefillah le-Moshe, this prayer of Moses, who's an Ish Ha-Elohim? We see here that God is the most important being to Moshe. Not only is he an important being, but he is the creator. He existed for eternity past, and he exists to eternity future, which is an even broader scope of describing God's eternal nature than saying that he has been our dwelling place, where it says, Adonai, ma'on ata, hayita lanu, bedor vador, from generation to generation. Because when we say me'olam ad olam, that spans further even than human history. So the setup of this Tefillah le-Moshe in in Psalm number 90 is God's eternal beingness, that he is outside of time. And so Moshe just uses these phrases that are temporal, like B'terem Harim Yuladu, before the mountains were born, etc. This is beautiful poetry that helps our heart focus and see in the beautiful poetry beyond our normal everyday lives and get a glimpse of the glory of God and his eternal nature. He's eternal and unchanging. So I hope this was fun for you just to hear a little bit in the Hebrew of Psalm 90, which again is a Tefillah le-Moshe, a prayer of Moses, Ish Ha-Elohim, man of God, and to have the delight of seeing probably 1,100-year-old manuscript of the Psalms with very beautiful Hebrew writing. Shalom.